again. Hey everyone. I'm just seeing if this is showing up. So just bear with us for a moment here. If you are watching the replay, you might want to fast forward the first couple minutes.
Winging it.
Yep. I just want to make sure this is showing up in the group. Oh, it is. Yay. Okay, cool. Okay. So I hope you can hear us okay. Let us know in the comments below if you're having any difficulty hearing us or you're having any problems, but otherwise we'll get going. Sweet. Okay. Hi, ladies. It's me, Jennifer Jayde. I'm so excited to be here with you today because I found that I've been getting a lot of questions about branding photo shoots. And I don't know if it's because I'm a huge advocate of really investing in high quality, really beautiful photos of yourself that really showcase your personal energy in your photos. It's just like that saying, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And anyone that is even thinking of creating an online-based business, this is the first thing people see. And as we all know, we all kind of make those snap decisions within the first few seconds of stumbling onto someone's Facebook ad, website, business page, wherever we happen to come across them. So I think it's really, I know it's really important to invest in photos and a photographer that really help bring out your authentic essence and energy into your photos and give you that high quality look and feel that anyone who's considering working with you would want to see. So I think that's one reason why people ask me a lot about branding photos and any tips that I might have for them. The other reason is I actually used to be a photographer. I actually still consider myself a photographer. I still do the odd shoot. I think I'll always have a camera in my hand if just for fun. And that was my original dream business. So I left my 9-to-5 to pursue my dream business of traveling the world and taking photos for a living. And that's what I was doing just before I started this business. So I have kind of got a really clear sense of the type of photographer I'm looking to work with, how I want to look and feel in my photos and during my photo shoot. So I'm a little bit particular, and I can say without a doubt that Allison Taylor Creative is the best that I have ever worked with for personal brand photos. Not only is she just super fun and relaxed and chill and easy to get along with during the shoot, but you just feel beautiful and your photos are like nothing you've ever seen before. It's almost like she can capture a side of you that you have never seen before. So super happy to have Allison here today. A few things about Allie. She is Canadian, but you may not know it because she's been traveling all over the world for the past year, which has been really cool. She and I have actually photographed together in Bali, California, Hawaii, and New York. Soon we're going to be heading to Mexico as well and doing a shoot there. She has been published, well, she's lost track actually, but I think her last count was in 10 magazines, 10 times published, 3 times published in the last month. She's really incredible at what she does. She has an amazing eye. If you haven't started following her on Instagram yet, please do, because her work, every time I see it, blows my mind. So anyways, enough of my rambling. I want to welcome Allison. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me. Thank you for that intro and those expectations. This is my first Facebook Live, so bear with me. I'm used to being able to, cut my my pauses and my ums out. So
yeah, you're used to being able to edit.
Yeah.
Cool. Exactly. Well, I'm so happy you're here, Allie. We're just going to chat. So I thought maybe just for getting started, you could give us an idea of why get a personal brand photo shoot? Like, why not just use, if you're getting started with an online business and maybe you've hired a business coach, or maybe you're investing in different online systems and money's tight because you're starting this new business, why invest in a personal brand photo shoot? Like, why not just use the photos that you might already have on your computer, or, get your husband or boyfriend to take a few shots for you?
Well, first and foremost, I think you know, this is your first impression. This is the first thing that most people are going to see of you online if you have an online-based business. And it really, really affects your perceived value. If someone has stumbled upon your ad and maybe they've found your copy is really moving, and then they see your photo and it's like it's a selfie, or you know, maybe it's just not a very good photo quality, and it doesn't look like you've invested in yourself. And so it's kind of hard. It may not be a conscious thought that people would have, but it's kind of hard to allow yourself to invest in someone if they haven't shown you that they've invested in themselves already.
Yeah, that's a big point. Wow. And, you know, I totally agree with you on that. I feel like, you know, I don't think of myself as judgment. I used to think maybe I was judgmental, but now I'm thinking, you know what, I think it's actually a bit more intuitive. And, you know, when I'm coming across someone from the first time, if this is someone that I'm looking to lead me in some way, whether it's business or to learn something new or a coach or whatever it is, I want to see them as a leader. I want to see them as someone who is being the living, breathing example of what they're preaching and what they're teaching. And I want to see that through their images, and I want to feel that energy. So, you know, if it's just kind of like they couldn't be bothered and it's just, you know, maybe these old photos or kind of I'm not sure, it makes me start to second guess a little bit the credibility, the value. And like you said, like, well, should I be investing in them if they are not investing in them? It makes you kind of a little squeamish. So I think that's really important what you shared there. And there's another thing that I wanted to share. Nope, it's left me, so it'll come back. It'll come back if I meant to say it. So with the brand photo shoot, what would you say are some challenges? First of all, I feel like there's some people saying hi and I want to say hello. Oh, Corinne's here. Yay. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Giselle. Hola. Hi, Yvette. Yay, Yvette's here. Awesome. I was hoping she'd be here.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone that has questions, by the way, me and Allie are going to be just chatting back and forth. But if any of you ladies have questions while we're shooting this video live, we'll be happy to answer those as we go. So feel free to ask any questions. Something pops up while we're talking, feel free to ask it in the comment section below, and we will definitely get to your question while we're shooting this video live. What are some challenges, Allie? So let's say someone's like, you know what, I would like to up-level my presence online. So maybe someone did get started out with maybe some lower quality or old photos with their brand, and they're either going to do their first branding photo shoot, or they're going to do like a next level, higher level, up level their brand appearance and feel photo shoot. What are some challenges and maybe even some fears that might come up for that person?
The biggest one I see is people are always very worried about, they personally feel that they're not comfortable in front of the camera. I think it's an awkward experience. They maybe don't think they photograph well. They don't like how they look in photos. And so they're already going into it kind of thinking, you know, why am I doing this? I'm going to look silly. That's probably the number one that I hear. And I guess my biggest advice for that one is really to just take a step back, because I know it can be uncomfortable if you're not used to it. And to remember that, you know, first and foremost, your branding images aren't necessarily about you. You know, you're trying to show a very authentic, real, genuine side of yourself, for sure. But it's more about what it's going to make your ideal client feel like when they see it. So it's not so much about whether or not you look like a Victoria's Secret model, so much as, does a person look at this photo after they've read your writing or they've seen your videos, and do they think, you know, that, wow, this person is super genuine, or I really like the energy I'm seeing in this photo, or like, wow, what a great smile, it looks like they're having a great time, you know, I really want to talk to this person. Or even just, you know, this, you know, looks like they've got their life together. They look, you know, this is somebody that I want to learn from.
That's so huge, Allie.
Yeah. And so that's the one I like.
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's the biggest one. I try to, like, there are other things, of course, to make yourself feel comfortable in front of the camera for you personally, but that's the first thing I try and tell people, is to just keep that in mind. Keep this person, you know, whoever your ideal client is that you've already decided or come up with in your mind, keep them in your thoughts when you're planning. Anytime you're starting to get a little bit worried about it, you know, you're trying to reach them, and that's the ultimate purpose of these photos.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is why I love Allison, you guys, because I've seen so many photographers just from when I was a photographer or just out in the world, and their main concern is, did I nail this photo technically perfect? Is the lighting spot on? Did they do perfect, like, business pose, and, like, you know, what was the perfect background? And it's just, oh yeah, nailed it. I followed all the photography rules, nailed that shot. Meanwhile, the person looks like a total robot with, like, no emotion and this kind of nervous, like, what am I doing? Like, what? And, like, you know, people can feel your energy. They can feel it through your photos. They can feel if you're faking it. They can feel if you're uncomfortable. They can feel if you're out of place. So I just think this is a huge distinction for me anytime I'm looking for a photographer. Is this a photographer who, like, wants to tout about how much gear they have and how, like, perfect they are as a photographer? Is this someone who cares about you and your brand and your energy and really helping you feel comfortable, drawing that out from you in a space that the photographer knows is probably a little bit uncomfortable and awkward for you? So they, you know, an amazing photographer like Allie would know that and would draw out your most authentic energy and vision for yourself, for your brand, and for your clients. And then for you personally, when you are, you know, if those nerves are creeping in, best tip I could ever hear is remember that these photos are not about you. They're not about, did you lose 5 pounds in time, and does your hair look perfect, and, you know, oh, you're not tan, whatever it is. The photos are not about you. It's not about you bragging. It's not about you being, you know, posting about yourself to, you know, look for applause. It's about you connecting with the woman or the client that you're meant to serve, that there's a message inside your heart that you're meant to put out into the world, this energy that you're meant to exude. You're meant to inspire others. And that's what you want to connect with in your photo shoot. And to have a photographer who also understands that is rare. It's honestly rare. So amazing, Allie. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think another challenge might be, tell me if I'm wrong, is the money. Like, you know, oh, I'm just starting this business. I don't necessarily have the money. You know, first of all, I'm totally uncomfortable, which we just addressed. Secondly, I don't have the extra money, like I'm starting this business, so maybe I should just kind of pull what I have on my computer for now, or, you know, get my husband or my friend to take a couple quick snapshots for a Facebook ad or something like that. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on people feeling challenged or worried about money and the investment into photos?
I totally understand from, like, an early business standpoint. You know, things are tight. You're not really sure what next month's going to look like. So I totally understand that mentality for sure. I would say, you know, first and foremost, you don't have to jump in head first if you're not ready. You don't have to go and, like, spend thousands of dollars buying all the clothes and all the makeup and the hair and all of these things for your initial photo. There's lots of photographers that offer mini sessions. And if you went into it and just said, look, this is exactly what I'm trying to get out of this mini session, you know, there are definitely options if you're just not ready to make that big of an investment. Then the second thing I would say is this is a form of an income producing activity. So this is part of how you're going to bring in those clients. So, you know, along with investing in your education and your credentials and being able to say, you know, I've learned these things and that's how I'm going to teach you. It's also, you know, I've invested in my business and how I'm presenting myself to you as well. And so it definitely, you know, there are two sides for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so huge. I totally agree with you in the fact that this isn't the kind of photo shoot that it's just like, you know what, I feel like getting some photos taken of myself. which I actually, side note, highly recommend everyone do a boudoir or like a fun photo shoot someday. But anyway, the branding photo shoot is not an expense, it is an investment. And it really is about you magnetizing, drawing in the clients that you want. So you putting out the energy that you want to put out, that is in alignment with you and authentic for you, and having a photographer who's going to be able to support you in drawing that out from yourself, and then that being the client that you magnetize into your business and draw into your business. So this is an investment to create income for your business. It's not a vanity shoot or an expense that you just did because you felt like. This is an investment into your business. And that's another thing that I really want to, just kind of highlight. If you are worried about the money or the expense, there's other ways, like Ali talked about, doing a mini session, and kind of saving a few dollars that way, but still getting, working with someone that is really good and really going to highlight the best parts of you and your energy. Also, Ali, I think, one of the things that I wanted to bring up with you, and I was going to save it for the end, but I know that you actually help plan. I don't know if you do this with all your packages, but you have a package where you help the client plan and pick outfits. So, I mean, maybe, if the person doesn't have a budget to go buy a new wardrobe or, 3 new outfits or a new dress or whatever, like, is that something you could help them with? Could they show you some articles of clothing that they already have, and you piece that together so they don't have to go spend the extra money if they don't have it?
Yeah, so what I do, and I do it for both of my personal branding photo shoot packages, is I help plan like your overall look, like the aesthetic you're trying to build in your brand, as well as your hairstyling, your makeup, and your outfits if we're doing more than one. And it's part of my actual questions that I ask every client that I'm working with for a personal brand, is what they actually look like and dress like on a day-to-day basis. So I try and give myself a general idea of like, what does this person have in their closet? And then from there, based on how they're describing their business and how, who they want to reach and how they want to present themselves, I'll come up with ideas or suggestions. They're all recommendations, but it's just my way of helping with the process of what they could do based on what I believe they probably already have something similar to, and then turn that into their photo shoot outfit.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. And, I didn't know a lot of photographers who actually did that. So I just wanted to point out that you do that. Maybe there's other photographers that do that as well. But, it's just another way to help you still have the high quality photos that you want, the photographer you want, but not necessarily have to go get the whole new wardrobe and all the shoes and everything to match. So that's so awesome that you do that. I just want to say a quick hi to people that are tuning in. Let's see who we've got over here. Okay, cool. Oh, Yvette, that's a great question. So we are going to get to these questions. Yay. Hi, Giselle. We'd love you to model for us. That'd be amazing. Okay. And hi, Michelle. Yay. Yay, Michelle's here. Hi, Brittany. Okay, cool. We've got questions coming in.
Oh, awesome.
Trisha says, this is just Trisha says, when I see a dated photo of someone, I think they don't update their photo, they don't update their skills. Whoa, that is a great point. Yeah. Whoa, mic drop. Hi, Corinne. Okay, cool. So we're going to get to these questions. Just wanted to share a bit more with Ali, and then we'll get to the questions. So keep the questions coming. We are going to get to those, but only during the live filming of this video. So if you're watching the replay, Ali's already gone by now, but if you're watching live, please do ask the questions in the comments below. Okay, so tips. How does someone know when they found the right photographer for them, or what can they be looking for when they're choosing their photographer?
It's actually a lot easier now thanks to social media. We have access to pretty much everyone's portfolio at the click of a button, which makes your life so much easier. I would say definitely look for somebody whose work creates those feelings in you that you want to inspire in others. So if they're already producing a lot of images where you're like, wow, this is beautiful, I would love for my photos to look this way, or this is exactly what I had in mind, that's a huge, that's a sign right there. Somebody who, you're also going to want to look at their niches. So if you're finding a photographer who does beautiful work, but maybe they only seem to do weddings, they're probably don't even offer the kind of photos that you are looking for. So you will want to look for somebody who does a lot of portraits. This can mean, if there isn't a personal branding specific photographer in your area, this might just mean somebody who does a lot of senior portraits or family portraits, somebody who's very regularly working with people who are not models, they're not comfortable in front of the camera per se, and they know how to photograph.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually think you bring up a great point, which I really also wanted to address. So actually there was two. So when choosing your photographer, this is like a huge no-no. And I only say this from like, I remember like, so when you're starting out, like, so I guess my point is, if you look for like the cheapest photographer in your area and you're like, oh, she'll do a shoot for $50 or whatever, like she's the cheapest person you can find, and then say, but I want you to do Allison Taylor quality work, or I want you to do this other person's work, or I want you to do like, someone that's maybe you can't work with. I'm just using Allison as an example, and saying that to this, maybe a newer photographer, it's really disheartening for that photographer that you're kind of saying, well, I don't like your work. Could you do it more like this other person? I felt like you were cheaper, so I'm paying you less money, but can you just do your best to make it look like you're somebody else? Like, it's really hurts your feelings as a photographer. So there's a difference between putting it that way or working, like I know Allison even asks, like, hey, I'd love some inspiration. Have you seen other branding photo shoots that inspire you? So that's totally different. Like, and tell me if you agree, Allison. There's a difference between this work inspires me versus like, oh, you're the cheapest person I could find, but can you make it look like you're more skilled than you actually are? It was like, I remember that someone asked me that when I was very first getting started, and I was like, oh, that was crushing. And then I remember I was mentoring a fellow photographer when she was kind of growing her business, and she messaged me, and it had happened to her as well. And she's like, oh, they said they want to hire me based on my pricing, but they want me to make my work look like this other photographer. And I'm like, oh, don't work with them. Don't work with them, because they're not hiring you for you. They're hiring you because they think your pricing is low, and it's just not a great feeling, I don't think, on either end. So can you speak to that a little bit, Allie? Like, the difference between, hiring someone cheap or working with someone like you or anyone else for that matter, but being inspired, like giving inspiration.
What do you mean, like bringing somebody else's images to your photographer as inspiration, or like?
Yeah, like I don't want to scare people off from like saying, oh, I like this person's brand photo shoot, or I like, because that's not, it's different, right? Like it's inspiring, not like, oh, can you pretend that you're this other person that I didn't hire?
Yeah, so yeah, there's a huge difference between going to someone and saying, here's this other photographer, this is the only example I'm going to show you because I really like their work. I didn't hire them, but I would like you to copy them. It's insulting. It's kind of.
Yeah, so you're almost better off to find the photographer that you actually do want to work with, and maybe just do the mini session like you suggested, or exactly. Just save up extra month or whatever it is.
And then there's also a big difference between going to your photographer and saying, here are some images that I'm very much drawn to. Can we make something in this style? That's different. That's just giving somebody direction.
Totally.
That's just making it clear what you're looking for. So it's how you go about it and what you ask. Yeah,
totally. Okay, good point. And another thing that you raised, the second thing that I wanted to touch on before we forget and we move on. What happens when someone, maybe they do hire a wedding photographer to do their branding photos, or maybe, this person doesn't specialize in branding photography. What are some things that, this kind of photographer may not know about branding photography?
Okay.
that maybe you could mention to them if you can't find a branding photographer specialist, which I do really highly recommend finding a branding photographer specialist, because there is definitely a difference between shooting a wedding and shooting for someone's business.
Mm-hmm. So the big things you need to keep in mind is, if somebody's a wedding photographer, they're looking to create candid images and very maybe fine art style images, and they're highlighting not necessarily always the people, but maybe the gown and the details in the dress or in the cake, and so they have a different eye is what I'm trying to get at. They have a different eye for what they're trying to get out of a photo. And so this doesn't mean that they can't do what you're looking for. It just means you have to make it clear to them what you want, which in a branding photo means you're going to need way more photos in like a landscape is what it's called, crop. So it's a wider photo, not a tall photo. Whereas I'd say most portrait photographers err towards more tall crop photos. So that's a big one right off the bat. For your website, for your Facebook ads, for your landing pages, you're going to need wide photos. So that's the first thing you need to make sure you mention. The second thing is you're going to need far more photos of you, and this always makes people a little uncomfortable. You're going to need far more photos of you looking into the camera and smiling. So, none of these Pinteresty, off into the distance, wind blown, it's more of the landscape than the person type photos. Like a few of those are great because they're great to have those kind of filler photos that are of you for your brand. But mostly you're going to need portraits of you looking into the camera so that when you're posting these photos, people online feel like they're looking at a person and not some, minimalist pixie dream girl or whatever they call those, all those online stock photos where it's somebody you can't really see their face, that's probably the second one.
Yeah, like it feels like you're making eye contact with the person, right? It's much more intimate. And when you are trying to develop that personal brand and you're trying to get the grow your warm audience and encourage people to know, like, and trust you, you want to feel like they're meeting you for the first time, or they're connecting with you in your newsletters or whatever it is. So I remember that was a huge difference that I learned when I was stepping out of being a wedding photographer and then being photographed for branding work was that the eye contact. I use those photos most often. I use them in my social media posts. I use them in my Facebook ads. I use them in my newsletters. I use them in my landing pages. So if I were to hire a wedding photographer and not be clear on what I need for my business, there's going to be a lot of these candid looking, like off into the distance, or it's more about the scene around me than me as a person, or, different things, maybe highlighting different parts of, just my eyes or just my lips or whatever it is. And then maybe you get one or two photos of you looking at the camera. Well, now you've done this whole shoot with only one or two usable photos that you're going to primarily use. So that was a huge thing, and I'm so happy that you shared that, because that is really a big difference between wedding photographer or lifestyle photographer versus someone who is knowledgeable in the personal brand photography arena. So Ali is aware of I'm so impressed you said landing pages. I'm like, this girl knows what she's talking about. She knows what a landing page is. Like, that is awesome to work with a photographer who knows the ins and outs of an online business and what's needed and what style of photos that you'll be using. That is awesome. Okay. I had a couple of questions. Okay, last one, and then we'll go to the live thread. So anyone who hasn't yet asked a question, just during the live filming of this video, we're answering live questions. If you're watching the replay, Ali's already gone. We won't be able to answer, but while this is live, feel free to ask your questions in the thread, and we're going to get to those in just a second. How best to prepare, Ali, for a photo shoot on the client side?
So in planning, I would say it's important to kind of think about your personal style and likes in terms of building your brand. So say this is your very first shoot. Think about, something you're not going to get bored of, which is hard, but, don't pick coral and turquoise branding colors just because that's trendy in fashion right now. You're not thinking of longevity, which is what you want to be doing. What else? Yeah, and really, especially if you're not sure what your brand looks like, it's very much about like your personality. It's about you, and you're not going to go out of style, so don't worry about that. If you love wearing a denim jacket and jeans, does not matter if that's what's in fashion or not. That's you, and that's what's important. So go into it with like your own personality in mind. That's essentially what your brand is you've turned your personality into an aesthetic, into a photo, a web page. So that's good to keep in mind. Don't necessarily worry about what they're doing or what they're doing. If you see something you really like, great. But don't say, oh, I like this, but it doesn't look like this person, so maybe I should be doing that. Nonsense. This is about your individuality and why somebody wants to work with you in particular. And then in terms of getting ready for being photographed, I always like to tell people to do things that make them feel great. So if that means you're going out and getting a spray tan, or you're going out and getting your hair done before your photos, if these are things that otherwise make you feel great, or just going to the gym in the morning before your photo shoot because you come out and you're full of endorphins and you're just feeling like you're ready to take on the world, whatever you need to do that makes you feel good and then will help put you in that mindset, and then you're going to be in front of a camera, it just makes it 10 times easier than if the week leading up to it, you're biting your nails and saying, oh, I've never been photographed professionally before. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stand. Do I remember how to smile? I think I've forgotten how to smile. Don't worry about that. On the day of, your photographer, they will know how to capture you in flattering angles and lighting and how to help position you. If they're really good, they might even get a genuine laugh. So don't worry about that too much. That's their job. That's why you've hired this person. You just need to show up and, with a great attitude and get ready to have some fun.
Yay, I love it. Cool. I think those are such great tips. I love especially the one about, doing what makes you feel good, whether that's going to the gym, or maybe you do want to get a bit of a spray tan, or, get your hair done or makeup or whatever, lashes. And then again, this can work to fit any budget. So if you're just getting started, then, go to the dollar store and get your own nail polish and just paint your own nails. Even if your nails aren't going to be even in the photo, but it just makes you feel like a little bit extra, a little bit more, beautiful or whatever. Even if it's just you painting your own nails with a dollar store nail polish, but it just adds something to you and your energy. Do it. All the way to, of course, you could get a manicure, or of course you could go get your hair professionally done, or maybe you have a friend who is really good at makeup and she comes over and does a nice job for you in the morning. Whatever that is, that just gives you that little extra boost, do it. And then another thing that you talked about is really remembering that these photos, if the nerves start to creep in or whatever, just remembering that these photos are not about you, and it's just about you actually serving other people and getting your message out into the world. It's about them. So it's not about you, it's about them. It's about who you want to serve, the message you want to get out, how you want to lead by example, how you want to inspire others, and be that person that you feel called in your soul to be. And just really remembering this is for them and about them and about attracting who you're meant to serve and help. Not just, do I have a funny smile, or did I not lose the last 5 or 6 pounds I wanted to by now, whatever, right? Something about you, Allie, that I really love is I used to really be that way. I used to be in this place where I would not get in front of a camera unless I was in the best shape of my life. Otherwise, it's no, I'm not getting in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. Or it's I can't do a shoot when it's close to Thanksgiving or Christmas, or because I'll be eating turkey dinner and I'll feel gross. And it's now, and especially working with you over this last year, and we've done our 4 shoots in Bali and New York and Hawaii and California and soon to be Mexico. I actually don't even try to lose weight or go on some weird, restrictive diet. Oh my gosh, I have a shoot coming up. I just don't even bother, because I just feel that comfortable with you, and you just make me feel that beautiful and that comfortable in my skin that I don't feel like I need to go to extreme measures, with my weight or whatever, before stepping in front of your camera. So I just really wanted to put that out there. And then another tip that I had, this is just from like, this kind of piggybacks onto what you already shared, about remembering the energy that you want to, bring into the shoot and the energy that you want to exude to your potential clients. If something that might help with that is thinking of your 3 core desired feelings, or the 3 words that you want your brand to stand for, you want your energy to stand for. So maybe you say, for example, they are freedom, alive, playful, and so when you go into the shoot, just focus on those 3 words: freedom, alive, playful. Freedom, alive. You could even tell them to your photographer, this is kind of what I want to bring to the shoot: freedom, alive, playful. And so your photographer will be like, okay, cool, and she'll have a sense of direction, or he'll have a sense of direction of like, okay, what can we do that would be like feeling like free, or what can we do that's playful, or what can we do that's alive? And then you'll be thinking that too. You're like, oh, how about I do this? Or Allie and I, oh my gosh, Allie, we have to tell the story. We have to tell the story.
Which
story I'm talking about?
I'm
wardrobe malfunction.
I was going to say, my mind went to San Diego for sure. And all the people that were taking the set and got a show.
Okay, I cannot believe. So Allison and I are in San Diego, my favorite city in the world, and Allison's like, I've seen you do a California shoot before. This was with another photographer before Allie and I had ever started shooting together. And it was great, and there were some beach photos, and then there were some photos like downtown La Jolla, and it was great. I loved them. But Allison's like, when I think of Southern California, I think of beach piers. And I was like, oh my Lord, why didn't I think of that? So I was so excited. It was her idea. I loved it. We went to the pier, one of the piers in San Diego at sunset. And the sunsets in San Diego, all sunsets are stunning, but you just have this clear view because you're on the West Coast on the ocean. And it's just like this beautiful, straight shot of the sun and the pink sky. And, people crowds go down to the beach every night. I'm not even kidding. Every night the beaches are crowded with people watching the sunset. So me and Allie happened to be shooting at this time. And I don't care. I've done enough shoots with Allie now that I'm just I don't care if people are watching or whatever. And I'm wearing this white dress, this beautiful white dress, and it's kind of flowy. And the sun's going down, so we're losing light. We're kind of doing our grand finale shots. And I'm thinking playful, free, fun, these words in the back of my mind. And I'm like, I'm going to start splashing around in the water. I'm going to start splashing around in the water. So I'm splashing around. I'm totally carefree, splashing around. I'm dipping down and splashing up the water, dipping down, splashing up the water. Anyway, I dipped down to splash up the water, and I guess this wave came, and my dress did not come back up with me. I was not wearing a bra underneath. It was a strapless kind of built-in type of situation, and everyone else got on top of the sunset that night. Everyone had their cameras out already too. They were photographing the sunset. I'm like, oh my God. How many people got that? Even if just by accident, right? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, me and Allie were gutting ourselves laughing. And they were looking on the camera, did you get that? I'm delete it. But I think we didn't, did we get it? Did the water splash kind of cover it? And then I realized.
We got the moment where you realized. So your hands were covering, and you just had this look of horror on your face. I'm facing you in the sunset, so I don't see all the other photographers behind me with their cameras. You, on the other hand, are looking at this wall of cameras, and you're just
oh my gosh, that was awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go over to questions, unless there was anything, we'll go to questions, and then I was going to talk about, how to connect with you if anyone was interested, but what you wanted to add before we go over to questions?
There was one little thing I wanted to touch on actually about hair and makeup. Yeah. So it's kind of a smaller detail, but I do always try and mention, and that is, photos always make makeup look softer, and they always make hair look smaller or flatter. So if you're doing your own, go a little bit bolder. And if you're going to a professional hairstylist or makeup artist, those people already know how to interpret what you're asking for and make it so that that's what it is going to look like on camera. So even if that's maybe not necessarily what you are comfortable in, you wouldn't be grocery shopping with this face on. It's more about how it's going to photograph. So I always recommend, a little bit bigger hair, false lashes, things like that are really going to enhance your features because the camera makes everything a little bit softer.
Yeah, that is a really great point. I'm so happy you mentioned that. That is actually a really awesome point because the first time I was ever doing a photo shoot, I was 22 years old, and I was doing like a boudoir shoot for my boyfriend at the time. We're now married, and I went to MAC, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this photo shoot. My photographer suggested smoky eye nude lip, and it was my first time ever getting my makeup done at MAC, and also my first time ever specifying that it was for a photo shoot. And they're like, okay, great. And they do this smoky eye, which was like, I'm not shy about wearing makeup, but this was like, oh my Lord, when I saw it, and they had lashes. I felt like the lashes were like brushing my eyebrows pretty much. And then the nude lip was fine, but I literally was like hiding my face when I was leaving MAC because I'm like, I feel people are going to mistake me for a streetwalker right now. And I am literally not shy about makeup. But when we did the photo shoot, because I said to my photographer, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this too much? Like, do I need to wash them? She's like, nope, don't touch it. And we did the photo shoot, and it looked like I was wearing what I would have done for makeup. Like, I could not believe how much it really does, the camera really does mute your features. So I was wearing these long eyelashes, but if I wasn't wearing those, it just looked like I didn't even have eyelashes type of thing. So if you are going to get your makeup and hair done professionally, just trust them that they know that they do need to go a little bit extra for a photo shoot, or if you, like Ali says, if you're doing it for yourself, great advice. Just go a little bit bolder so that it will actually show up more natural looking on the camera. Because if you do natural looking by yourself, then it'll look like you're not wearing anything at all when you get your pictures taken. Awesome point. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the questions. I saw some really great ones being asked. Okay, you guys, so I'm using BeLive.tv, and I'm going to go, based on how they're showing them to me. I don't know if this is in order or not, so just bear with us. Okay, yay, so some ladies saying hi. Hi, Corinne. Hi, Yvette. Yay, Corinne wants to do a shoot with you when she comes back to the island. Awesome. Oh, Corinne says, I love this Facebook Live. People thought I was crazy to hire a photographer for my site. I was just getting started. Best investment I ever did. Awesome. And then Trisha, I am gonna show this one again. When I see a dated photo of someone, I think they don't update their photo, they don't update their skills. I thought that was really huge. Thank you, Trisha, for that one. Hi, beauties. I can't wait to shoot with you, Allison. Going to try for this summer. Oh my gosh, Brittany, that'd be amazing. Yay! Giselle, your photos are pure magic. Ali Taylor, love them. Oh my gosh, look at these. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Okay, Brittany, will you be in Nanaimo or the island this summer? I need you in my life.
I need you in my life, Brittany.
Yay!
Yes, it's funny you should mention that. So I actually am moving. So right now, if you don't know where I'm located, I'm based out of Vancouver, BC. I'm very frequently on Vancouver Island, Victoria, and Nanaimo specifically. I will be here and taking bookings in this area up till July 20th. But I'm actually moving to Quebec this August. So if you're on the East Coast, this is fantastic news because you're someone that I might not have gotten to meet, and I will be out in your neck of the woods very soon. But if you're someone in this area that kind of, we've got a bit of a schedule to work with here, I will be leaving halfway through the summer. So yes, I'm definitely going to be around, but just until July 20th.
Cool. And so you're based in Vancouver, but you do often shoot Victoria, Nanaimo. Yeah. Yeah, so you're often over on the island. And also, I mean, clearly you and I have shot in many other places. You're shooting in San Diego later this month. Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Few days.
That's soon. Yeah, you're shooting in San Diego in a few days.
Yes.
So obviously, and you and I have been in Bali. I know I've mentioned already, but for anyone just tuning in, Ali and I photographed in Bali, New York, Hawaii and California, and pretty soon we're going to be in Mexico shooting together. So if you have ideas for a destination shoot, you want to have a destination branding shoot, maybe you're going to a conference or a teaching or a mastermind and you're like, you know what, that'd be an awesome shot, an awesome location for a photo shoot. You know, give Ellie an email and see what you guys can come up with, because you never know unless you ask. Okay, so Michelle. Oh, Michelle says, looking forward to working with you in June, Allison. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Giselle, that's it. I'm modeling for you. Yvette, thank you. Ego has been lately. Oh, I'm so happy that this helped you, Yvette. Okay, here's a great question from Yvette. What can we expect on the day of? How long does a photo shoot take?
Okay, so this definitely varies photographer to photographer. Me personally, it depends on the package. So my larger package, we'll be shooting for 2 hours, and the smaller package is an hour and a half. So I shoot quite quickly. I know there are a lot of photographers who take, they'll do like a half a day sort of situation. Generally, I find for me personally and how I shoot, that 2 hours is more than enough. And
I got to pause right there, and I have to attest to that. I want to say that if I would shoot like a boudoir or lifestyle session, I would do 3 hours with a person. And I think it's because I was diddly-daddling and like taking repetitions of basically the same shot way more times than I needed to. And I've really noticed with Allie, like I think the California shoot we did was like an hour tops because the sun was, we had trouble finding parking and the sun was setting, it was getting dark. So we didn't have a choice. We had like 59 minutes and we did 2 outfits. We got tons of photos. We got tons of variety. You did close up, far away. You did scenic, you did playful, you did professional. And I never felt rushed. It's just you're very efficient and you're just like, yep, got it. And we'll do the next shot. Yep, got it. Next shot. And meanwhile, you're carrying on I was just blown away with the variety of images you can get in 1 hour, and 2 hours would be, tons. So yeah, that is so true what you're saying.
And then the other thing, again, this is me personally, I can't really speak for other photographers and their process that they have, but so if you've booked the full package with me, we'll be getting ready together. So me and the hairstylist and makeup artist, the team will come to you and it'll be the girls getting ready for the day. We're going to be doing your hair, your makeup. We'll go over your outfits together. And then we will go to your location, maybe location number 1 if we're doing 2 different areas. And from there, it's very organic. If we're loving one location, we're going to be there the whole time. We could spend a lot of time on one look or like heavier on one look as opposed to another one. It's all very much, I want to see how you're feeling with what we're doing. If this is working where we're at, great. If not, we're going to switch things up.
Cool.
And then if you're doing my other personal brand package where we're not getting ready together, we will meet up at whatever location we've come up with. I will probably try and throw out a few quick one-liners to break the ice. If we've got that kind of relationship, I'll bring some tequila. We'll see how it goes.
Ooh, I didn't get any tequila. What the heck?
You told me you were old hat, so I didn't think you but yeah, and so I just, right off the bat, I try to make you feel comfortable. And then from there, again, it's very organic, whatever is working, great, we're going to keep doing it. If it's not, we're moving on.
Cool. I love that. And I love that you're so open to that, Allie, like going with the flow, seeing what's working with the client rather than being the dictator and I'm the professional and I will tell you like we're doing this and this. So, you are the professional, you have great advice, but you're also open to feedback and really feeling into what's working and what's not with the client. That's amazing. Okay. So, Sheri says hi. Sheri's loving this conversation. Love it. Okay. Sheri says, you talked about this already. How do I select my outfits for my first shoot? I want things that I look and feel good in, but it also needs to keep the theme. Needs to keep to a theme, right? Question mark.
Yes. So I did touch on this a bit. It's great if you already have an idea of what your brand is going to look like because that will help you narrow down what you're going to wear. But again, like I said before, yourself, your personality, you are timeless. And so if you have no idea what your branding colors are going to be, if you haven't even narrowed down exactly what your business niche is yet, you can go into there, just keeping in mind what you already know, because whatever that is, that's what you're supposed to know right now. So go in there in mind what you already know, and then just bring your personality into it. So whatever your, absolute favorite outfit is, what you feel like you look great in, or, whatever your go-to, butt-kicking outfit is, that's great. Because down the road, you're going to be able to fit those images into whatever branding you've built, because there's no way they are going to clash. It's you, you are your brand.
I love it. You are your brand, and it is more about your energy than, the exact right dress or the exact right, shoes. But what's really cool is Allie helps you with all that. Or, or if you don't hire Allie and you find a photographer in your area, ask them for their input. I'm sure they have ideas of what looks good on camera, what doesn't. But the best piece of advice that I just heard Allie say, and that I used to always give, is wear what you feel good in. Mm-hmm. Don't try and squeeze into something and you feel like a sausage, or don't try to put something on that just really doesn't feel like you, but you think that's what you're supposed to wear. Wear something that changes your energy to feeling confident and feeling those words that maybe you've decided, you want to use for your brand, or that you want to exude in your photo shoot. Wear that. That would be I think the best thing. That is kind of what you were thinking too, Ellie? Yeah. Cool. Okay. Maria says, hello, beautiful princesses. Okay. Okay. So Sheri's got a couple here. One's for you, Allie. How do you choose a location? Do you need photos in several locations, or is one okay?
Okay. So for me, I've always found, generally a client will have an idea of what they're looking for, and you can come up with this either based on the city we're going to be shooting in. So usually your location will lend itself to a certain landscape or background. So, here on Vancouver Island, where I am at the moment, that usually means lots of ocean and trees and mountains. If you're going to be shooting outside, you don't necessarily need to be, but I find that's usually, people are usually a bit more comfortable with, a setting. So that's a big one. The other one is also the kind of feeling you're wanting to create. So I usually find this out when I'm asking my introductory questions that I ask all my clients. When we're figuring out what kind of feelings you want to create or how you want people to interpret your images, that also usually lends itself to a location very well. So if you are someone who, you're wanting your photos to look very tranquil, or, very calm, it's peaceful, you're probably going to want to, or that could lend itself nicely to like a beautiful grassy field with trees in the background, Or if you're someone who is, they're wanting to emit freedom and adventure and things like this, you're probably going to be wanted, even on a cliff beside the ocean, or right down on the beach and in the wind and in the waves. So I'd say there's a lot of things to take into account. What you want your photos to look like is a big one, and then just think to yourself, okay, where do I feel like this? Yeah. You could be walking down the city street. Where do you feel these emotions that you're trying to create? And then number two, your second question, do you need several locations or is one okay? That's very personal as well. I've done some stunning shoots in one location where we basically had, and this is the other thing, your photographer can do some tricks. If you've got 15 by 15 foot space that you're working in, that could be enough to give you an amazingly versatile photo shoot. So I wouldn't worry about, I need to be at this beach, and I love this park in my hometown, and I need to go, I want some on the city street too. And you don't need to worry about it too much. If there are two locations nearby that you'd like to do, great. If you have your backyard to work with right now, and that's the best you can do at the very moment, or that's your ideal, perfect. You can get a lot out of a small space.
I love what you said, Allie, about thinking about how you want to feel in your photos first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you think about those 3 core desired feelings, or you think about the energy you want to exude, or how do you want your clients to feel when they come across you for the first time? You know, what do you want that presence to be like? And then think, well, where do I feel like that the most? Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a nearby stream. Maybe you're like, there's a little like rock bluff somewhere where you like to go and sit and meditate.
Yeah.
You know, if you want them to be more like, more kind of businessy looking, when I saw you did some of those for Lynn in Santa Barbara Alley, she had some right on the beach that were totally like, you know, meditative and beautiful and serene. Then she did some businessy ones as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember I did a shoot. Well, I wanted to feel like, kind of like a bit sassy in my first photo shoot. So I was like in heels and this, you know, Kate Spade dress, and I was walking along like the sidewalks and outside some shops downtown in La Jolla. And so, I mean, I think, you know, how do you want to feel in the shoot? What do you want to exude? And then think about what would be a location that really lends itself to me feeling that way. Yeah. And then to speak one more time to Allie, or, you know, a photographer, you can ask your own photographer that you end up finding and resonating with, if they can do diversity in one area. And I just know, working with you, Allie, when we had that 59 minutes in San Diego, because we got late with parking and the sun was going down, it was getting dark, I just packed I had 2 dresses, and I just got changed right on the beach. I just slipped out of one and kind of pulled up the other one underneath the dress I was already wearing. I just felt like we got some kind of more professional poses. Then you got some that were really close up. You got some that were distant. You got some that were me looking at you. You did get a few that were just more scenic and me looking away out into the waves or at the sun or something. So yeah, and I've seen you at a studio space, and I've seen you do in your, you know, 15 by 15 or whatever size it is. Beautiful, stunning. For a lot of your Instagram work, I believe, is in that space as well. So, you know, photographers, you know, ask them how they feel about that, Sheri, about having one location. But I know for Allie, she can do amazing work in small spaces and in one location. So that's a great question. Okay. And Sheri had a quick question for me. She said, I love your branding photos. It looks like you have more than one location. How many different shoots have you done? Okay, Sheri, I've gone a little overboard with photo shoots. Not overboard, actually, because I find that I'm actually ready for my next photo shoot already, and I think my last one was in February. My first photo shoot I did right away for my business. It wasn't with Allie. I hadn't started shooting with Allie yet, but I did it right away. And I think it was 6 months, or it was almost a year. It was like between 6 and 10 months, maybe closer to like 8 or 10 months before I did my second photo shoot. So I think it was like the beginning, I just did the one photo shoot. That was my budget, you know, and starting and growing my business. It was just a one photo shoot. We did 2 outfits and 2 locations. And those photos last me. I mean, I recycled the same favorite images over and over again, but you know, I had enough. I had a couple locations, I had a couple different outfits, and it's okay to recycle photos, because then that repetition is really great for developing your brand. So I was okay with that. But then, you know, when business was doing well, I wanted some fresh photos. Then I started traveling more, and I wanted photos here, and I wanted photos there, and I wanted photos here. So once the momentum gets going, if you enjoy shoots and you enjoy sharing the different locations that you get to live and work from or travel to, and really exuding that lifestyle and being an example of that for your clients, then do as many shoots as you like. Maybe it's 1 shoot a year, maybe it's 6 shoots a year. So do what feels right for you. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm not a skin specialist, but Allie, do you have any comments on how to make your skin look good in a photo shoot?
Okay, so just on your end, it's great, you know, if you're doing your own makeup, of course, you want freshly washed skin, maybe freshly exfoliated skin, depending on your skin type. A very recent makeup application before your photos. And then on the photographer's end, I mean, there are so many things, lighting, the editing that we do afterwards. And you can also say, because this is kind of a touchy subject in some ways, how much retouching is done after the fact. So if you, your skin's breaking out at the time of your photo shoot, and if this is something that's, maybe it's a bit of a worry of yours, definitely talk to your photographer as well. Skin retouching it's pretty easy to do. I can't, situations are always different, but if you've got a few blemishes, things like that are very, very easy for a photographer to just quickly edit out, and you won't even remember, if you had a pimple on your forehead that day when you get your photos back. You wouldn't even know. So I would say if you're worried about it at the time of your shoot, definitely voice that to your photographer. Let them know, I'm having a breakout. This isn't a mole. Please be mindful. Like I do want you to retouch my skin. I won't be offended. This is something that crosses your mind. You don't want to edit someone too much. You want them to look natural. So yeah, make it very clear you'd like your skin softened, or you've got a couple blemishes for them to keep an eye on if there are any close-up photos.
Yeah, and I find the photo actually needs to be really close up before you would ever notice pores or blemishes, or so lots of times, like when I used to shoot weddings, brides would be like, oh my gosh, I got this, blemish, or oh my skin, but it's like, unless I'm doing a tight shot of her, like, here, you don't even, you can't even see it, because the what Ali mentioned earlier is the photo shoot really does minimize your features. So if there's a small little thing, you don't even see it. But yeah, very easy fix. So just if it's something you're conscious of, that's a great point, Ali, to let your photographer know. And that actually reminds me, some people are self-conscious of things that a photographer wouldn't pick up on, because maybe it's something that it's really specific to you. And I remember this one specific example where this client told me, I did her photos, and this is when I started asking this question every single time. I did her photos. She was stunning. She had like a great body, like she was beautiful smile. She seemed comfortable in the shoot. And then I asked her, I sent her the photos. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so stunning. I love the photos we did together. What do you think? And she's like, yeah, I like most of them. And I was like, what? Like I wasn't buying it, And she's like, well, I just really hate my nose, and I forgot to mention that, and it's just, so I don't really like any photo where I'm like looking off to the side. Yeah. So a lot of the photos I did were very candid, so it wasn't like straight onto the camera. It was like off to the side or down or whatever, so where you would see the nose, and I was like, oh, well, I wish I would. And it's not her fault. Like, I just took that as a learning example for me. Before every shoot, I just say, is there something that, you're a bit self-conscious of that maybe I should be aware of before we start shooting? And I can minimize that, or just make sure we don't, accentuate it in any of the photos. So anyone listening, if there is something that you are self-conscious of, you are beautiful from the inside out, and this is about your energy and your purpose and your mission in the world. But if there is that one thing that's going to make you not ever want to show that particular photo, then let your photographer know. Okay, I hope that I'm seeing all of the questions here. I'll just go over one more time. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Last one. What was your mindset before each photo shoot? Did your goal change for each photo shoot? Okay, so I will answer that one, and Ali can help out, and then I think we got everyone. Or there's one more after that. Okay, Sheri's asking great questions. Mindset before each photo shoot. Did your goal change for each shoot? we touched on this a little bit already, but for anyone just tuning in, I do want to mention, for me, and then I'll give Allie time as well for her expertise. For me, it is me remembering it's not about me. When I start thinking like, I've been in better shape than I am right now, or, I put on the winter like 10 pounds, or, oh my gosh, it was just Christmas, or it was just Halloween, or it was just Thanksgiving, or whatever, or, I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks, or whatever it is. Like, I just remember that those thoughts are very me-focused. And I always like to think of Marie Forleo. I watched a video of hers, and she said anytime that you're feeling very self-conscious and really doubtful of yourself and hyper-aware of your perceived, your own perceived flaws and different things, that's when you're focusing your flashlight on your own face. And if you think about it, when you put a flashlight on your own face, it's very unflattering. You got like the ghost eyes and all your blemishes are highlighted, and it's just like, and it's just not a great place to be. So when you're feeling very self-conscious, when you're saying, you hear yourself saying mean things about yourself to yourself, you've got the flashlight on your own face. So I just really like that visual of turning the flashlight outwards and remembering it's about who I want to serve. It's about reaching more people. It's about being more visible, so I can be a beacon of light to more people and help them in the way that I feel inspired to help people, and inspire them in the way that I feel inspired to help people. I've got to get in front of them. They have to know that I exist. I need to rise up into my light so that I can light the path for other people. That's my mindset. I think about my 3 words. Is it, freedom, playful, alive, whatever it is. Or maybe it's like sassy, bold, and vibrant, whatever it is. I just think of, what do I want to portray in this shoot? What do I want to exude? And, how can I'll think about those 3 words, and the ideas just come for the shoot. What about you, Allie? What would you say would be a great mindset before each shoot?
Yeah, I would have to agree with everything you just said. I mean, that's my biggest point on that topic, is definitely keeping in mind who it is you're trying to reach, because it's bigger than yourself. That's the whole idea. And then on top of that, being as clear as you can on those those 3 core desired feelings, or the way you want your clients to feel after they've worked with you, maybe, and that's what you're trying to show, like your lead by example.
Cool. So, yeah, nailed it. Lead by example. I love it. I love it. Because, this is a side note off photo shoots, but it is so much easier to speak what you believe and speak what you want other people to do and what you wish for them, and, tips for them and advice for them. But the most powerful way to lead others and inspire others is by you being the example of doing just that. Not just talking about it, but doing it and showing that you're doing it. That's why I love doing those photo shoots when I'm traveling to different locations, because I want people to see you can have a life of freedom and be doing something you love and making it a great income at it while you're making the impact that you feel inspired to create. And you can go to Bali and have fun and go to a yoga retreat, and you can go to Hawaii and do a fun shoot there and do hikes and different things. So I love it. Be the example. So we have a lot of thank yous here. This one, I think, Allie, I know I said one more, if you don't mind. I think this is a really great last one for anyone that's self-conscious about weight. One more. Are there things you can do to make photos look good when someone is overweight? Is it mostly wardrobe? Any other things to know?
Okay. Wardrobe definitely plays a part. Again, you're going to want to make sure whatever it is that you're wearing, you're comfortable in. And then from there, I mean, you kind of do have to have some trust in your photographer. So you can make it known, like, hey, I'm a little bit self-conscious about my weight right now. Are there things on your end you can do while we're shooting? And there 100% are. There are lighting techniques. There are specific angles that photographers know to use that are just more flattering. And so it's kind of like the skin thing. If this is something that you are conscious of, definitely talk to your photographer about it. Your photographer only wants to make you look good. Like, don't go into it worrying that, you know, you're gonna look silly, or you don't like your how you're not the weight you want to be, whatever it may be. You know, your photographer's goal, just as much as yours, is to make you look good. That's what they're there for. So if you're making it known that these are your worries, they will go out of their way to deliver what you're
Totally. Yeah. So exactly. I totally agree with you, Allie. It's like, it's letting the photographer do what they do best, but also, you know, maybe letting them know this is something, you know, I'm a little self-conscious, or, you know, whatever you can do to minimize my waistline, or whatever it is that you're self-conscious of. But the photographer, you know, even if you don't say that, that is their primary objective, to make you look as flattering and beautiful and radiant as possible, and really draw out your energy. So they'll do things with, you know, like Allie has said, the angle that they're taking the photo, the posing that they're kind of guiding and suggesting you do, the lighting, like they'll choose where the light will hit your body and where it's not hitting your body. So use of shadows. And for outfits, for some reason, I'm feeling called. I don't know if you're thinking of an outfit, Sheri, but I'm thinking of an outfit where it's like you have a waist. So if it's a dress, but it does cinch at the waist and at the smallest part of your waist, and then maybe it flows out. And if you're conscious of your arms, then maybe it's just like a cute little blazer over top, or a little scarf, or like, you know, something around the arms. But something where you do have a waistline, I think, is actually really flattering for any body type. If you just come out in like a big kind of moo rectangular piece of fabric, it just makes you look wider on camera, because cameras are two-dimensional photographs. They're not three-dimensional. So if the width of your outfit is very boxy and rectangular, then that is what you'll look like in the photo. So for some reason, I'm seeing a vision of like a cinched waist, maybe a cute little blazer, or a little like scarf, or something around the arms, if you're conscious about the arms at all. But yeah, this has been awesome. Okay, Allie, so I know, and it's already been said dozens of times here in the comments, but, you know, women in the group, in the Savvy Soul Sister group, or anyone watching this right now, whether it's the replay, I know I'm going to send this out to, you know, my newsletter sisters and my YouTube channel. How can people connect with you? Like, let's say they do want to meet with you in Vancouver Island, or Quebec. I know you're very near to Montreal when you get out there. You're going to be not far from Toronto, New York. You're going to California in a few days. Like, you're all over the place. So chances are, even if you're not in the Vancouver area, which I know you're actually moving, so July 20th is the deadline for the Vancouver area and Vancouver Island. Maybe someone, you know, wants to shoot with you in New York, Bali, Hawaii, wherever, Florida. You're open to that. How can they connect with you?
So I'm all over social media. So I'm pretty easy to find. All of my social media is Allison Taylor Creative. So that is my website, AllisonTaylorCreative.com. That is my Instagram handle. That's my Facebook page name. So right off the bat, those are, I think, the quickest and easiest ways.
And I have to say, if you're not following Allie on Instagram, go right now on your phone and find Allison Taylor Creative on Instagram, because she just has the most entertaining newsfeed of just the most beautiful work. So make sure you follow her at least on Instagram, Allison Taylor Creative. And then Allie, I know that you and I were talking because I get a lot of questions about photo shoots, and you're the one that I trust the most with personal branding photo shoots. I really was hoping that you'd be willing to share so generously, which you have in the group for the last over an hour, almost an hour and a half. What about people who, you know, is there something that you'd be, I mean, I'm not putting you on the spot. We talked about this already. There's something I know that you're willing to offer specifically to anyone watching this video, which I'm super excited about. Would you be willing to share about that?
Yeah, of course. So, initially, this was specifically an offer that I had made. Oh, should I wait? I'm going to wait until she comes back.
Hey. Oh my gosh. Were you there the whole time, Allie?
I don't know. I don't know if like people could see me or not. I was talking every once in a while, but I mean, it might have just been people staring at me, staring at a screen. Oh well.
I just saw introvert life. I'm like, oh my gosh, I left Allie hanging.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh, sorry about that. That's my bad. Okay, so while we were waiting, I posted, I'm like, Allie's got big news. Am I echoing to you, Allie?
Nope.
Okay, good. I'm echoing to me for some reason, but hopefully it's just me. Okay, so before we got cut off, I'm super sorry about that. You were sharing that there's something that you created special for the Savvy Soul Sisters. And I know we've shared it already in the group program, the 9 to 5 Escape Plan Soul Sisters. So we're going to open this up to the Savvy Sisters only. I'm super excited for this exclusive offer you've created. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course. Okay, don't mind me looking down. Part of my packages are kind of long. I have to make sure I get everything. Yeah, okay, so for the Savvy Soul Sisters, I've referenced a few of my packages already as we were talking, but my most popular package, and it's also my biggest, is a minimum of 50 edited photos for you, 2 hours of shooting, styling, guidance, and correspondence. So that's what we were talking about before, where I'm going to ask you questions about your personal style, about the brand, who you're trying to reach, where you're pulling your inspiration from, things like that. You're also going to get professional hairstyling and professional makeup the day of the shoot. So this is like my like all-inclusive, like super involved. I'm your photographer. I'm also kind of like your stylist. This package is normally $8.99, but for the Savvy Soul Sisters, I'm going to be offering it for $6.49. And thank you. And also, and what I had mentioned to the 9 to 5 escape plan is, and we've also touched on it as well, is I know what it's like to be in the early stages of your business. I know what it's like to be starting out and to, like these investments that you're making into yourself. Some of them can kind of be like, whoa, okay. And I totally understand that feeling. So I'm also offering my standard package. So this is a minimum of 30 photos and an hour and a half of shooting, and I will still be doing your guiding you through styling, but it's just without the extra photos, extra shooting time, and the professional hair and makeup. That will be left to you. I will still be giving you direction and suggestion, basically, of how I've interpreted what you've told me, but it will be up to you how you use it. And so this package is normally $4.99, and I'm going to be offering it for $300. So that's a price.
Yay! That's awesome.
Package that before.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
So this is for Jen's Soul Sisters. So if you're in the Savvy Soul Sister group, if you're in the 9 to 5 escape plan, you've already heard about this. And then, of course, if you're on the newsletter list. So I have 10 spaces for these shoots. So it's either 10 spaces or the offer lasts until July 15th. So whichever is first.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 10 spaces, they could be gone in a week, they could be gone in 2 weeks, they could be gone in 24 hours, who knows, but no matter what, offer ends July 15th. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And so
happens first.
Basically my reasoning for that too is also, like we had said before, I am moving to the East Coast, which is great. This puts me in this great opportunity to be able to work with people here locally, but also if you live on the other side of the country, I'm going to be heading out that way too. And so I really wanted to make this offer available to you as well. So people who are out in like Ontario, Quebec, maybe, New York, these areas, I want to make sure this offer is available to you as well. If you want to book later on. So I will be out there in August is when I will start taking bookings for the East Coast.
So they just need to reach out to you and book,
yes,
no matter where they are in the world. So even if they're on the East Coast or Florida or Hawaii or Bali, as long as they book with you while you still have one of these 10 spaces available, you know, they get in contact with you while you have these 10 spaces available or before July 15th. The actual shoot itself can be after July 15th, you know, when you move to the West Coast. Or cool. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you, Allison. That's so amazing and so generous of you. And we're just so grateful for you for being understanding that a lot of the women in the group here are just getting started. They're getting their business up and running. So that's just really, really cool of you to offer that here to the Savvy Soul Sisters. And thank you for your time. We went half an hour over. So I apologize for the tech glitch. I wasn't expecting to go a half hour over. But just so grateful for you, Allie. Thank you for everyone who's been watching and asking questions and tuning in and giving hearts and just amazing comments below. We're so grateful for you. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
See you soon. Bye.